Hey there, it's Mel C, and this is the Six Figure Chicks Podcast. Quick, powerful conversations with women making six figures and beyond. It's a real talk, big wins, and no fluff. Just 15 minutes to get inspired and get you on the go. Together we rise, together we change lives. Hey there, welcome back to the Six Figure Chicks Podcast. I'm Mel C, your one and only, with amazing guest Crystal Petry. I was on her podcast. Now I get to have the honor of having you on our podcast. So thank you so much for being here, Crystal. And why don't you share a little bit of your awesomeness with the audience?
Well, Mel, thank you so much for inviting me to be on your podcast. I am so honored to speak with you and speak with your community. So a little bit about my awesome self, as Mel stated. I am the owner and principal consultant of Crystal Petry Consulting. And what we do under that umbrella, the first thing that I have is an amazing podcast that I was very privileged to have Mel herself come on and speak about Six Figure Chicks and the amazing work that she's doing in that space. But I speak to a lot of amazing people, national and international, where they come on and educate about particular things in their life. That could be lived experiences, that can be work experiences. We do have people come on and talk about failures in life because, as you and I know, a lot of times we learn from our failures. So they will come on and talk about failures that they've had in life. They will also come on and talk about successes that they've had in life. And I'm very intentional with this podcast because what I'm trying to build is kind of like a digital library. To give you a visual, where I have just people come on and educate about a particular thing on the podcast. I also have grant writing services. And with that, it's also education. So everything under the umbrella of the Crystal Petry Consulting brand is about educating my clients, educating my community. And I'm doing the same thing with grant writing. And in that, I offer grant writing services, for example, grant research, where I go in, Mel, and I find grants for nonprofit organizations, for-profit organizations, and even entrepreneurs that are in alignment with what my client is looking for, but also in alignment with what the funder is looking for. I also offer grant submitting services where I write the grant and submit that for you, grant coaching. And Mel and I were just talking before we hit record that I also offer grant workshops. So for people who are wanting to learn how to research grants, how to write grants, then this workshop is for you. And I do a workshop every quarter. I have one coming up in February of 2026, and then another one in May of 2026. And that one is for people who want to learn how to write grants. It's also for people maybe who want to start offering grant writing services for themselves. Mm-hmm. So it's something that I'm in love with. You know, I understand the power of grants, but I also understand the power of education, and I'm weaving that throughout my entire company.
I love that. And yes, I cannot wait. I'm going to be there in February because it's a lot of information that can feel overwhelming, I'm sure, to a lot of people, including me. Like, yeah. You know, you start talking about that and I'm like, whoa, okay, like just hold my hand and take me through it. Yes. But before we get started in a little bit more details of your amazing company and the work that you do, let's start off with something that maybe not a lot of people know about you, that can be like, whoa, I didn't know that about Crystal. Now I do.
Ooh. Okay, so one of the things that a lot of people do not know about me is my favorite food. And I keep it near and dear to my heart because I'm so protective. But my favorite food, and it's something that I feel like I could eat every single day for the rest of my life. And I don't know if that tells you anything about me, but here we are. So my favorite food is barbecue. I absolutely love barbecue, and it's definitely something that I can eat for the rest of my life. And not to just get, just tragic and, gross on your podcast, Mel, but you know how they like you get those questionnaires and they're like, your last food before you pass away or your last meal, like if you went to prison or something,
Yeah.
it would totally be barbecue for me.
Do you have a particular style of barbecue that you like?
Well, I am in Texas, and I feel like, and maybe I'm gonna get some pushback for this, but I feel like Texas style barbecue is the absolute best style barbecue. And I've eaten barbecue in different states, so I feel like I'm educated enough to give this opinion, Mel. It's
Uh-huh.
my opinion, but Texas style barbecue is the absolute best barbecue. It's smoked low and slow, and then you have the barbecue sauce that is a ketchup based barbecue sauce, and of course you have your seasonings and stuff that go into it, but I feel like it's just the best.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, now I'm hungry. Thank you.
Right.
Now I'm gonna be like, I need some barbecue. Okay, so let's switch gears and go back into your business.
Yes.
Um, I always love talking to people about their business, like the challenges and roadblocks that we face, because that's a large part of the Six Figure Chicks,
Hmm.
is that we share those real raw stories of like everything isn't just perfect like we show on social media or our websites that are just crystal clear, looks good, and we offer all these amazing services. But like, what's a challenge that you face in your own business that possibly has helped pave the way for your, services that you offer? Like, what's one of those, you know, nitty gritty roadblocks that you've overcome?
Yes. That's a great question, Mel. So when I first started Crystal Petry Consulting, I, like a lot of women, and I'm sure a lot of men too, and am a jack of all trades. I am a
Mhm.
master of a lot, but I'm also a jack of all trades. So when I started the business, and I have two challenges, if I have time here, that I
Yeah.
face. So the first one was when I started Crystal Petry Consulting. Since I'm very knowledgeable and experienced in a lot of things, I figured I'm just going to offer all of these things.
Mhm.
So on my website, I had like 10 to 15 services that I was offering. I see your face, Mel. Exactly. So I'm just like, I have all these services. I have the website. The website is beautiful, but I'm not getting any like clients. I'm getting a few like here and there, nothing consistent. And I'm just like, I don't know what's going on. And I honestly cannot remember if I spoke to someone or if I read something or if just it occurred to me that I'm watering down my services because
Mhm.
I had so many different options. I felt like people didn't know what to choose when they came to my website or when they came to Crystal Petry Consulting because I had so many different things on so many different sides of the spectrum. So that took me, I'd say maybe a year to 2 years before I realized that or, came to that understanding that, okay,
Mhm.
Crystal, you're watering down your services. So that was a huge challenge for me, just realizing that I am offering way too many things and they are not aligned with each other. So I had, for example, newsletter writing. And then on the other side of that, I had like grant writing, which are
Ah,
two completely different things. And then on the other side of that, I had event planning. And then on the other side of that, I had social media management. So it was just a lot of services that I was offering that were not in alignment with each other. And that really hindered my business. It really hindered the clients and I was not getting a lot of clients at all. So year two, of figuring this out, I condensed my services to be very, very specific in where they are now, the services
Mhm.
that I'm offering now. So obviously I do a podcast, and with that podcast mail, I offer podcast advertising packages, which is in complete alignment. And then of course I offer grant writing services, and I just started the grant writing workshop, which is in complete alignment with the grant writing services that I offer. And both of those components, the foundation of both of those is education. So now everything is condensed, everything is very specific, everything is very aligned with each other. So, and I'm not like pulling my hair out because offering that many services, it's like you are going crazy trying to juggle like 20 balls in the air. And I cannot juggle, Mel. I cannot
Yeah,
juggle.
I can't even like imagine how you would do all that.
Yes,
But
it
it's
was a
it's
lot.
one of those learning curves that we have to do of like, fall forward first and then, pick yourself up and be like, okay, what worked and what didn't work.
Exactly, exactly. So, that was a major challenge for me. Number one, figuring out, okay, this is way too many services that you're offering. And then challenge two, figuring out what specific services am I going to offer and how are they in alignment with each other. So, for anyone that's listening, that's watching, just be very specific on the services that you offer and understand the alignment of both of those services, or however many services that is, just understand the alignment of them.
Yeah, and just because you can do multiple things doesn't mean you have to be doing that. That's what I tell my clients with the Clover side all the time. It's like just because we started out doing all the things does not mean that we still need to be doing all those things, especially as
Correct.
your business grows. Um,
Yes.
yeah. And so let's go back a few years
Mhm.
on your younger self. Like I love thinking about like what would I tell my younger self that I know now? So what is one piece of advice that you would give your young Crystal Petry?
Oh, that's so good. Um, I would give my young Crystal Petry, I would tell her that you will make it. I will tell
Mm.
her that you will make it. And I will tell her that your latter days are much better than your current days. So,
Mhm.
and I'm trying not to get emotional on your podcast because now I'm thinking about my earlier days. So, but that is what I would tell a young Crystal, that don't worry, things will get better, and they will get so much better in a manner that you could not even imagine, think, or dream. So just hold
Right.
on, Crystal. Hold on, Crystal.
Because thinking back to those younger years, like I think back to mine when I was, living on my own, not even 18, like I could not have imagined I'd be where I'm at today.
Yes. Yes.
And to be like, gosh, keep going, keep pushing past those challenging times when you
Yes.
think there is nothing left.
There is nothing left. And it's just like you can't, like, your mind does not allow for you to even think that these things are possible, like that I own my own business, that these things are possible, that,
Mm.
that you would want me on your podcast. Like, I could not even think that those things were possible. A younger Crystal would not have, did not imagine, did not think that far at all.
Yeah. Or that either of us would even have our own podcast, right?
Yes, yes, yes,
Like that was not on my radar
at
at,
all.
yeah, 15, 16 years old.
Yes.
Um, but so saying that we're in such a crowded marketplace, like what's one business tip that would you would give to somebody to help them stand above the crowd?
Well, when it comes to the podcasting, it is very, very crowded, as you know, Mel. And I feel like people are creating podcasts every day, all day. But
Yeah.
what I would say to a person that's thinking of starting a podcast or that maybe has already started a podcast, consistency is the key. My podcast, the Crystal Petry Podcast, I've been doing it 3 years now. It'll be 4 years in 2026. And I have been very, very consistent. Now, I have read, and don't quote me on these numbers, but it's something like 1,000 people somewhere in there stop or quit doing their podcast every single day.
Wow.
So if you can just be consistent in your podcast, then you will absolutely rise above the fold because so many people are quitting it. Of course, a lot of people start, but I think like within a year or less than a year, and again, don't quote me on these numbers, please look them up. But within the year or less of people starting a podcast, they quit and they stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because as you and I know, Mel, I mean, a podcast, I love it. It's a wonderful space, but it is a lot of work.
Yeah.
A lot of work. So for me, I would say just be consistent in doing the podcast and you will automatically rise above the fold.
Thanks. That's great. And that's great information for, any digital presence, like being on social media, having a well-maintained website, always have
Yeah.
a regular, um, set of marketing tactics that are going out, be regular on social media, do podcasts. I find that a lot of people think podcasting, oh, I'm going to start a podcast and make a lot of money from it. I'm going to go viral or whatever, but it's
Yeah,
like, it's a lot of work to get started. You're not
it
going to be
is.
making money from your first episode.
Right, right. I agree. And I find, Mel, that if you get into this podcast space, and of course, I'm not talking about like your super famous people that were
Right.
famous in a different lifestyle. Just like your everyday people, if you're getting into it to make money, then I feel like that might not be the best direction for you. If like that's your direction is to make money as soon as you start.
Right. Yes. Have a clear understanding that you're
Yeah.
just going in to offer some sort of service
Right.
conversation and just have
Right.
fun with it,
Right.
which is what I love doing. So for fun, what is a song that you just love, like get you pumped up or get you motivated, inspired?
Yes. So I just want to throw out here that Whitney Houston will always be my favorite all-time singer and artist for as long as I live. And even when I pass away, I'm still going to love her. So, but to answer your question, Mel, I love this song by Eminem. And it is an older song. It's one of his older songs. It's called Lose Yourself. And within the song, he talks about taking advantage of every moment that you are given because you never know if you will get that moment again. And I listen to that song all the time because it definitely speaks to me because especially in the podcast space or even really in any space that I find myself in, you never know if you're going to be able to speak to that person again. You never know if you're going to see that person again. You never know if you're going to be in this city or this space or this conference ever again. So, wherever you find yourself, if you're meeting new people, if you're in a conference space, take advantage of that time and take advantage of that space because you never know if you're going to get it again. And this song by Eminem, Lose Yourself, that's exactly what he talks about through. And it's not a song, it's a rap song. It's a rap.
Yeah.
But that's what he talks about in the rap. Take advantage of where you are because you never know if you're going to get that opportunity again. So that song is on my playlist. It's on repeat constantly, Mel, because it is such a reminder to me to take advantage of the space that I find myself in when I speak to people, when I meet people, take advantage of that opportunity.
Yes, most definitely. And now it's going to be on my playlist. So we are starting a Six Figure Chicks podcast playlist of our guest song picks. So yes, you will be on the playlist. I love
Thank
that
you.
too. Okay. So as we wrap up, how can people find you? Are you on social media? I'm sure you are.
Yes.
All that good stuff.
Absolutely. I am on social media, and my handle for all of my social media and my website is CAPETRYLLC. That's my handle on all of my socials, and it's also my website address. It's CAPETRYLLC. And you can find me on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on Instagram. My website is there as well, and you can absolutely connect with me directly.
I love it. Okay. Thank you so much for joining us, Crystal. As always, a pleasure. I would
Thank
say
you.
for everyone, together we rise, together we change lives. So thank you for impacting my life, Crystal.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for having me on your amazing podcast, Mel. I appreciate it so much.
All right. Till next time.